Hi, welcome back to Gifted Guitars, unless this is your first ever episode of Gifted Guitars, in which case, welcome. I'm glad you found me. Today we're continuing our work on this guitar. It is an SG style guitar. We're doing a Lakers theme on this for my sister Rachel, who is a big fan of the Lakers. And right up here at the headstock, I wanted to put her name on it, Rachel, in this font right up here in gold letters. Now, in order to do this, I am going to do something that has been suggested by many people in the comment section. I'm going to use my wife's Cricut machine. Cricut cutter. Cricut design. Cricut. Does it have a title? What is it? Anyway, a Cricut machine basically can draw anything with markers or emboss anything or cut anything out. And so I bought some gold sticker material, and I'm gonna put a sticker right here that says Rachel written in gold. A lot of guitar companies use stickers and decals to put their logo up on here, so I think it'll be fun to try it out. And a lot of people have been suggesting that I try this, so I'm looking forward to seeing if I can make it work. Anyway, we're doing a whole bunch of stuff to this guitar today, and that's the first thing we're gonna do, so let's get started. Now, I don't know a whole lot about the Cricut, other than I've watched my wife use it, and it's very therapeutic to watch it like cut things out and draw things, and also the mats smell funny. So it's kind of like a smelly robot friend. So I was trying to force the Cricut open, and I realized that there's a button that says open. That's what you're supposed to do. That's the first step right here. Oh. This looked way more metallic online. Okay, so while that was super cool, the image is this big, but what it cut out is like this big. So it's a lot bigger than this, so I'm gonna need to make some changes here. So I measured the headstock with this, and this is about the size I need the logo to be. So I'm bringing it down to 2.2, and hopefully that'll be the right size, we'll see. Alright, that looks a little closer. Yes, I would say that's about the size we're looking for. We've got all these fun little tools, and it's to kind of get all the unwanted stuff out of the way. So I'm gonna come in here and do that right now. Okay, let me explain what's happening here. I'm gonna do a test run on a piece of plexiglass, and then I can put this up to the guitar and see if this is gonna work out in the long run here. This is a piece of transfer tape. So I'm gonna peel this off first, put it on here. Now in theory, if I peel this off, it should take this with it. And then I should be able to take this and put it on here. And that's what it'll look like on the guitar. All right, so when this gets put on here, it's still a little big because I kind of want it to be at an angle like this. So I'm gonna need to, well, let's see. Yeah, I want it at an angle. So I'm gonna shrink it down a little bit, and then we should be good to go. All right, now it says Rachel up there. That's her name. So part of me wishes this was a little shinier, but I still think it looks really cool. It looks professional, yeah. Yeah. All right, the next thing I'm gonna do is attempt to get rid of this little white spot right here. When I was painting the neck, I put it on like a little handle thing, and the handle thing extended further than this part of the guitar, and I did not realize it. I measured it, but I guess I measured incorrectly. There's a little spot here that looks like a mistake, and I'm gonna try and make it look like not a mistake by taking it off and doing kind of a black fade right here. I think it'll still work, I think it'll look good, and I think it'll happen quickly so that I can continue on with the work of the guitar. But I need to take the neck back off of the guitar, mask it up, and then put some black lacquer on it. That's gonna look a lot better, a lot less noticeable. It's not perfect, but it's better. Now I'm gonna bolt this back on and work on probably the most labor-intensive part of doing any of these guitar builds, which is making sure that the fretboard is perfect. A lot of guitar players, when there's a good fretboard on a guitar, they say it plays like butter. That's what I'm going for. Nice melty butter. Nice melty vegan butter. Earth's Balance butter. Substitute. All right, the next thing I'm gonna do is use this tool called a fret rocker, and what it does is it sits on top of 3 frets at a time. It has different sides to it, different lengths. So like down here you would use this side, but up here you'd use the bigger side, because you want it touching only 3 frets. And the reason for that is it's gonna tell you by rocking on the frets if any of the frets are too high. I should also probably mention a fret is the metal part right here. And there's a lot of frets running down here, and that's how you change the note that you're playing on a particular string. So if I played a string and was pressing down on this fret, and then I went and pressed down on this fret and played the string, it would play a different note depending on where my fingers are on the frets. And they all have to be perfectly even. If they're not perfectly even, you're gonna get all this buzzing and weird stuff happening. You don't want it. So I'm gonna go through right now and make sure everything is level using my handy dandy fret rocker. Already a problem. Listen, listen. You probably also hear a cricket in the background. There's definitely a cricket in my garage. This fret right here, when I'm on this side of it, isn't rocking, but as I move towards this side, it does rock. And so I know that this side of this fret is a little high. So what I'm gonna do is mark that with a Sharpie. So from the center to the outside, little high. All right, now I can move on to the next fret. Okay, so this fretboard is the wonkiest I have ever received. It's pretty bad. None of the frets are like that much off, but like every other one is kind of at a weird angle. So I'm gonna have to go to this whole fretboard, sand it all down, and then reshape all the frets back into a round fret. So yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of work tonight. All right, let's take a closer look at what I'm trying to accomplish here. This is the fretboard. This is like a cross section close-up of the fretboard. Here are our frets. Now what I just did was sand them so that they're all on the same level, but what that did is it made them, some of them at least, flat, like this. And a flat fret is almost as bad as a high or a low fret, because what happens is the string is contacting all this area. The strings go along up here. So when I press one down, it's actually touching all this area right here, which will also make buzzing sounds. So what I need to do now is shape all of the frets back into circles so that they contact the string only at one point, right at the apex, right here. And so I've just masked off the fretboard to protect the wood, and now I'm gonna go in with files and sandpaper and polishing pads and just really go at these frets until they're nice and round and smooth. So these guys right here are polishing pads. They start off kind of coarse. I mean, it's still very fine grit, kind of sandpapery, padded feeling. And then it gets progressively more fine grit until it's basically just a really soft polishing pad. And I went through this whole stack, all the way through every single fret, going one direction and then going the other direction. You see it on my hands. It's a messy job, and it wears out your shoulder and your forearm quite a bit. But I went through the whole thing and I still saw little like fine scratches and stuff on the frets. So I started completely over, went back to the first one, worked my way down using each one of these until I got to the last one again. And now I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Now you can see how shiny those frets are. Super shiny. All right, now it's time to put the electronics in. When I was doing the dry run of this with Rachel, we couldn't figure out which order these went in, like which one went where, and they're labeled. So I just needed to stop for a second and look. This one has a B on it, so it's gonna go near the bridge of the guitar. This has an N on it, so it's gonna go near the neck of the guitar, and that's how it works. So it turns out I lost one of these little plug pieces. So what I'm gonna do is snip off all the plug pieces that connect to the pickups, which are the two metal things that the strings go over that pick up the vibrations. They actually don't pick up the vibrations. The strings plus the magnets and the pickups with the coil running around them create sort of an electronic flux that's then converted into electronic signal, which goes to the, it's complicated. I'm gonna cut these off of anything that's connected to one of the pickups, and I'm gonna just solder wire to wire and we'll get it going. Also, I should mention that in more recent guitar builds that I've done, I've taken pictures of everything as I go, especially when it comes to electronics, so I have something to reference. I started this project a long time ago, like 4 guitars ago. So I didn't take pictures, and I'm kicking myself for that. So always take pictures. If you're gonna unsolder something, take pictures so you know how to put it back together. That's my pro tip to you. So I didn't really test out the cover plate on this, and it's a little too big for the cavity that it's supposed to sit in. Part of that might be because some of the polish that I used kind of seeped in there, so I'm gonna use a chisel and really lightly take that gunk out of there. But also I think it's just too big, so I'm gonna sand it down and see if I can get it to fit into place. There we go, that's looking good. It's coming together, we're getting there. That was a little risky. I probably should have done that before I put any electronics in. And tested the fit a little bit better before pounding away at it. But I think I got them in there. They're in there. They're good. They're very secure. So, but that was a little stressful. I started going for it and I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I have to keep doing it to finish it. And so, but now it's in there. It's in there. Okay, so yes, there is some finish checking. Yes, I didn't get it to stain right. Yes, it's a little patchy in the glitter department, but once the hardware is on this is a solid looking guitar. I'm really excited about the way this is turning out. I think it's looking really, really cool. I haven't put the knobs on yet, so that's gonna add another element, but I don't know, the black and gold hardware on the sparkle purple finish, I just think it's super cool. I have to put the nut on, which is the part that the strings run through before they go down the neck of the guitar. And then once I've done that, I can actually string this guitar up and see if it plays.